If you take a moment to consider your current training processes, how effective do you believe they really are? Are you using the same techniques over and over again? And when was the last time you gave everything just a little bit of a refresh? I bet you'd like to think that your onboarding and training presentations are resonating with your employees the very first time, but more than likely they need something a little extra to truly influence workplace behaviors. For example, when your doctor tells you to eat more vegetables, do you actually eat more vegetables, or do you simply nod in agreement? Just speaking at someone usually has little effect on their overall behavior. In fact, if you haven't bought into the narrative by now, you probably never will, unless it's delivered in a different and a little more compelling way. Good storytelling connects both rationally and emotionally in our heads and in our hearts. If your message to your audience is falling flat, try a little different approach. Use the power of storytelling to be a better leader. Great leaders leverage the power of stories to work for them in the workplace. Look no further than narrative leadership to keep your customer service story fresh and engaging for your team. How many times can we tell employees to smile and greet our customers and help them with their needs? At some point, these repetitive directions morph into meaningless blah, blah, blah. So start collecting stories in your workplace. Pay attention. Then, when something teachable and memorable happens, simply write it down. When you tell a good story, it helps to do three things for your team members. It can inspire your staff, it can change their perspective on their roles in the show, and it can help them visualize what excellence looks like. So let's go back to that simple example about eating vegetables. If the doctor had followed that directive up with an inspiring message about, Bob Smith, whose life was literally changed as a result of his new diet, would you have listened a little bit more closely? The overarching message is the same, but the delivery and thus the effect is much more influential. Suddenly you're connected to this man, Bob Smith, the tale, you're rooting for him, you feel for him. Your stories convey your values, helping employees understand that they're a part of something larger than themselves, taking them past simply complying to tasks and policies and procedures to committing and thriving inside the overall mission. Even more, a story that is used as an example of great workplace behavior helps team members internalize situations and act accordingly in the future. Walt Disney was a great leader and storyteller, and you can be one too. In my experience, it was this leadership technique that propelled his cast members and his business into something that is really quite extraordinary. He entertained people by tapping into their inner emotions and desires. He had a unique way of connecting with people of all ages by simply telling them a story. It really is just that simple. Think about areas where your processes can be improved and consider how narrative leadership can influence your results. It just might be the leverage you need to change your story. Good luck.